So, welcome back, dear all. So, we were discussing the risk management cycle. So, first step we have already discussed. Then, coming to the next step, step two, that is risk identification. We should identify what is our risk. Basically, what are the threats and uncertainties associated with my organizations or units' objectives. So we separate out risk into its cause and possible effects. We should be concise and clear, and we do not concentrate on symptoms only. So we need to look upon that. What are the threats? I mean, let's say that ship Titanic, an iceberg was coming in. Ahead. So threat was there that iceberg, our ship will get sunk into water. That was that iceberg, and uncertainty was that that ship will sunk away. But still they ignored it, and you know what was the result accordingly. Then coming ahead, we are in continuance of our step two itself. So we assess the risk, impact, and likelihood. That let's say in case of that particular example, if that ship it will get hurted by that iceberg, then the impact it could be a whole ship could sank away, and the likelihood, since the iceberg it was on the core way of the ship, so there was a high likelihood that the ship will sank away. So we need to look upon these two aspects. Then we prioritize the risk. We need to prioritize. Let's say in case of Titanic, their priority was to turn the ship away from the iceberg as much as possible, but they didn't prioritize it, and they simply looked upon managing the utilities within the ship itself. So they failed. Their priority should have been had to make a turn for the ship first of all, to just let it prevent it from that sinking down. And for the purpose, we need to get the input from appropriate individual itself. As they will maybe from high management, they will be from market itself, or they may be other related individual. But we need to take the input from the right individual itself. Then there's a third step of risk management cycle where we challenge and evaluate controls. We give challenges to our control system itself. Then we evaluate them. We evaluate them, and accordingly these control could be regarding the policy, regarding the action, procedure, or processes. They are designed to prevent risk or to limit its impact. Do they work? Are they effective? Whether these control are they in working condition, are they effective itself? Then residual risk should only be measured. So we should only measure the residual risk. Then we come to the step 4. We should take some action. For a serious risk where control are weak and absent, we need to take immediate action to control the things. And for risk where the risk appetite is exceeded, we can wait for a while. Then we examine cost versus benefit. Then we are in continuance of this step 4. So what could be our actions to particular risk? We could either tolerate, we could treat, we could substitute, or we could terminate the particular aspect of the business. Let's say if the risk is very small or lighter and we can't control it, we can simply tolerate it, let it go within the market. Let's say small mafia, they are taking some commission, but our profits are much larger than their commission. Then we tolerate. Okay, let them get away our goods. So let them have that particular commission. And second could be treat. We should take an appropriate treatment in order to handle the risk as such. Then we should substitute. Let's say unit A is not efficient in handling that particular aspect, or particular individual is not able to handle the aspect. Then we should substitute the person or the unit with that particular person or unit. And at the end, there's the thing terminate. We simply let the business activity or let the particular unit to be closed down. If it is not able to handle the risk, it is not able to handle the things as such. And the choice of above, it will be decided upon by your particular risk appetite. Nobody can tell you in such a particular. Then we are coming to the last step, that is step 5. So we monitor and report. We use a standard format for capturing risk data, that is risk register. I already told you regarding risk register. We will discuss how it could be prepared in the coming slides. Then we review all risks at least annually. And serious risks to be reviewed more often depending upon circumstances. That all risks, I mean, even as per the SEBI norms, for a particular set of companies, they are mandatorily given that instruction that they should report in their report itself that how risk management was there. Sorry, students, there had been some chit chat. तमाशे का टका था जो करना करो. So we were discussing the step 5. Uh, so we use a standard format for capturing this data. We review all this. Serious issues, they are reviewed more than once in a year, depending on the circumstances. We report on this to senior management board, and we make risk registers available to stakeholders to show good governance. So for risk management, we have different categories of risk. So discussing on these categories, there are multiple ways on which this can be categorized. Final categories used will be depend upon each organization unit circumstances. And goal is to cluster risks into standard, meaningful, and actionable groupings. What follows is one example of a type of categorization. So categories of risk. We could have financial risk, that is by means of reduction in funding, failure to safeguard assets, poor cash flow management, lack of value for money, fraud, theft, or budgeting as such. We could also have operational risk. These risks result from failed or inappropriate policies, procedures, systems, or activities. For example, failure of an IT system, poor quality of services delivered, lack of succession planning, health and safety risks, staff skill levels, no process to track contractual commitments. This could also be a reputational risk. So, organization engage in activity that could threaten to its good name through association with other bodies, staff members acting in a criminal or unethical way, or stakeholder relations. Further, this could be from the perspective of governance and compliance. So lack of oversight by board, segregation of duties not defined formally, ensuring compliance with funders' terms and conditions, compliance with applicable legislation, safeguarding of vulnerable individuals, taxation law, data protection, health and safety law, and particular aspects to be looked after. So we again there's another category of this, that is strategic. So engage in activity at variance with its stated objectives, and fail to engage in activity that would support its stated objective. So either our strategy is not applied actually, or either it is not applied in a right manner. Both we have strategic risk, and we end up having some issues in our business, and we fail with our business. So we should be very plenty enough sufficient to handle those sort of risks. Then risk register. So what is the risk register? What are its components and how to report it? We will discuss same on the coming slides. Risk register is a management tool used to record relevant details regarding to risks. This is a database of information on risk, best kept simple to begin with. So there's a performer of this sort of risk register where it has been prepared by a particular team for a particular year. So see, first of all, there's a reference number, then is a description, then what are the controls we have applied, and yes, accordingly we have given the marks. Let's say red is the priority. I mean, based on the priority of this, we have given them particular mark. So red is I mean, that is a very priorable risk. So in priority we need to handle this particular risk, then followed by that orange and yellow. So we need to handle them as per the priority. So no, number one is for priority risk, number two is the next priority, and number three, the yellow color, is the least priority risk. So we further in the register itself that what are the action, further action, if there is a requirement of any further action by replacement of strategy or by replacement of handling individual or machinery. So at the end we come up with that conclusion that date when further evaluation will be done. One evaluation already happened, so any further action, if it is there, it is recommended, and given the things, we leave up the further date. So these are the very few simple things to be learned about maintaining a register, and we are able to efficiently handle the things. So parts of a risk register, I already told this description. So we should describe the what is the risk. Then we control action. They are already in place. Then we analyze the impact scale from 1 to 5, and the likelihood again scale from 1 to 5, and we weighting, and we simply rank the risk, a calculated figure, that is impact multiplied by likelihood, and we come up to the risk weight, that is very necessary to compute that how much the risk is significant, and how aptly it should be handled in order to proceed ahead. So there are other parts of risk register. Number one is risk owner, that is the name of the particular enterprise or particular unit for which risk has been assessed. So further action required, that is also a column where we simply tell them that I mean, we already have some risk management tools, but how much they are able to, and how much we can capture, we can control that leftover risk. Then comes the date. So date when the next evaluation will be there, when the next evaluation take place. So a further tool is risk assessment matrix. Here we can say it is prepared based upon the former risk register itself, where the red, it stands for the most crucial risks that need to be controlled. Then the orange, it is the secondary level of risk that need to be controlled after that priority risk one in red color, that is handled. Then the yellow risk, that is a lesser impactful, lesser likely risk categorization. So we can let this risk go away for a while. We can keep our priority on that first priority risk and second priority risk as such. So tips for success. We involve all level of staff and management in process. We check control are relevant and effective, and we ensure that risk owner take responsibility for management of risk under their control. We focus on risk cause, not its symptoms. So we should focus on the roots instead of focusing upon that what is happening at the end. If we have control the risk, if we have control the risk from the roots itself, then there's no need to worry about that what is happening ahead. If the root is finished, then the risk is not there, and all the anomaly that has been ended. So we discussing other aspect that why risk management may fail. Yes, sometimes it fails. Even after all our activities, we have invested everything. We have done everything to save the things, uh, save the business perspective, but somehow the risk management it may fail. The reason being limitation of scope. Yeah, we don't have much to do to control such risks. We don't have much things in our control, so we have to leave them, to let them go their own way. Then lack of top management support. If the top management on the both sides it's not interested in managing the risk, it's not interested in tackling that situation and doing the best, somehow we are unable to manage the risk. We have to cope with the things the way they are, and we may look for the further action. That is top management it should understand that it is for our betterment and we should handle the risk, and then we are able to handle that risk. We didn't engage all stakeholders. There are many stakeholders to particular activity, particular thing, but if we listen, we didn't consider all views, we didn't consider all important views, then it may be lost for ours itself, and accordingly we will lose the risk management, and our risk management strategy it may fail. We may fail to share information. We don't share information to the top management and to the other stakeholders at time, and accordingly the risk comes upon, as in the case of Titanic. They had the information that iceberg is there, but they didn't taken it seriously and they didn't inform other authorities as such, and accordingly their failure led to risk management failure, and then ship sank into the water. The whole money, people life, and everything it got destroyed only because of small unsanctioned behavior. RM is not embedded within planning and management system. Yes, mostly it is happening that in small or many enterprises, it is not within our planning or management system. We only have a mandatorily clause for some of the enterprises that you have to report upon, and so they have report upon, and they report simply on the similar manner every year. Hardly there's any innovation have been researched till now in those enterprises, so we need to look upon that why they are not being in planning and management, and they should be embedded within the planning and management. So summary and conclusion. So in summary, we have discussed the definition of risk, risk management cycle. We also discussed the categories of risk. We looked upon that how to prepare risk register, and then we looked upon positive pitfalls in a risk management process. So humble thanks from my side. So now you need to decide upon that what is the place for risk management in your life. How you are going to handle the risk. You see, na, the Titanic people they didn't handle the risk. I mean, they were aware of the risk. Somehow they were significantly sufficient, but at time they didn't taken any action. And in addition, they didn't have any protection. Only few boats. There were around 2,000 passengers, and boats for only let's say 2 or 300 people. So what would be the result? Ship sank. Also, lives of people took on. They itself had that adequate number of at least that boats. So those people could have been saved in time. But neither the ship, neither the money, neither the enterprise, neither the people were saved upon, just because of inefficient management, inefficient planning, and especially that very weak or no risk management at all. So you need to decide upon what is your problem, what is your business organization, what is your activity, where you need to take the risk management aspect, and accordingly go for that closing sword. Okay, with this, I thank you all for listening me for that long, and I close the session for here.